Hello, my dear friends. My name is Eleanor, and I'm 74 years old. I've had the privilege of living through many seasons of life, and as the years go by, I've learned that the key to truly living a happy, purposeful, and peaceful life lies in small, everyday actions. You might be surprised to learn what keeps my heart light and my spirit soaring, even as I gracefully grow older. In this little corner of the world I've created, I've discovered simple habits that truly make all the difference, and I'm excited to share them with you today. Welcome to Golden Years Bliss, a space where we explore the joyful, surprising, and often overlooked practices that many of us older women embrace to maintain our happiness and inner peace. Some of these might seem small, maybe even unusual, but I assure you they work wonders. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into a few things I do each day to keep life full of joy, meaning, and serenity. I promise, you might be surprised by what you learn. As the sun gently peeks through the curtains, I slowly awaken to the soft morning light. It's always a peaceful moment, one that I've learned to treasure with each passing day. Before my feet even touch the floor, I close my eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. I think about the blessings in my life, no matter how big or small. This has become my morning ritual, practicing gratitude. I can't help but smile as I reflect on the simple things I'm grateful for, like the warmth of my cozy blanket that hugs me as I wake up, or the quiet moments before the world stirs. One thing I'm especially thankful for is the beautiful friendship I have with my neighbors. Yesterday, Mrs. Thompson dropped by with a basket of fresh baked bread, and that little act of kindness filled my heart with joy. As I think of all the moments like these, I feel a surge of positive energy, and I know it's time to start my day on a high note. After my gratitude practice, I get out of bed and head to the kitchen. My morning routine wouldn't be complete without my special cup of tea. I carefully prepare it just the way I love it, steaming hot with a touch of honey. As I sit by the window, sipping the warm liquid, I glance outside to see the sun casting a soft golden glow across the garden. The birds are chirping, the trees swaying in the breeze, and I can hear the distant hum of life beginning its day. It's during these moments that I truly feel connected to everything around me. Sitting there, with my tea in hand, I take a few minutes to appreciate the stillness. It's a gentle, calming ritual that sets the tone for the rest of the day. I think about how this time allows me to center myself before the demands of the world begin. There's no rush, no hurry, just a quiet pause in the morning. It's as if the universe is giving me permission to take a breath and simply enjoy being in the moment. As I finish my tea, I feel a deep sense of peace and purpose. Even though the world around me is busy, I realize that in this little corner of my life, I can still make space for joy, gratitude, and the things that bring me happiness. Whether it's connecting with friends, spending time in my garden, or simply enjoying a warm cup of tea, I am reminded that life's beauty often lies in the simplest moments. And so my day continues. But with each step I take, I carry with me the gratitude and tranquility I've cultivated in the morning. Little by little, these small practices make my life richer, fuller, and more meaningful. I invite you to try some of these for yourself. You might be surprised at how such simple, heartfelt habits can truly transform your day. As I sit there, sipping my tea, I can't help but notice something different within me. It's a subtle shift, almost imperceptible, but undeniable. The weight of the years, the moments I used to feel heavy or weighed down by, seem to have lightened. I've always believed that aging brings wisdom and comfort, but now I realize it also brings a certain kind of freedom, a freedom that comes with embracing each day for what it is, no matter what. But then, a moment of doubt catches me off guard. Last week, my neighbor Jane invited me to join her for a walk around the park. I hesitated. At first, I almost said no, telling myself that I wasn't up for it, that my legs were too stiff, or that it might be too much for me. I was caught off guard by that moment of uncertainty, a feeling I hadn't experienced in a while. It wasn't the first time I'd been invited for a walk, but this time, the thought of stepping out into the fresh air made me feel vulnerable, as if my body might not keep up. The truth is, I've grown so used to my daily routine that any interruption, even a simple invitation to step outside, felt like a challenge. I didn't want to admit it, but I was scared. Scared of feeling inadequate, of not being able to keep up with the pace of others, or worse, of being seen as someone who was too old for something as simple as a walk in the park. I sat there for a moment, contemplating, wondering if I should just stay inside where I felt safe. But then I took a deep breath, and as I did, something shifted inside me. I remembered the mornings when I had stepped outside to feel the air on my face, the simple joy of breathing in the fresh, cool air. The world outside was full of life, and I had every right to be a part of it. My body, though older, still carried me through the day. The moment I realized that was the moment I knew I had to step outside. So, I took Jane up on her offer. We walked slowly at first, each step more deliberate, but as we continued, the rhythm of the walk became natural. The air was crisp, the sky a soft blue, and the trees swayed gently in the breeze. We could hear the birds singing and feel the warmth of the sun as it peeked through the branches. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly alive in the moment, breathing in the world around me. As we walked, I realized how much more this simple act of moving my body had given me than I had anticipated. The stiffness in my joints seemed to fade away with every step. My mind, once clouded by doubt and hesitation, cleared up. My heart felt lighter and my spirit a little freer. I was moving, not just physically, but emotionally too. It wasn't just about the walk. It was about reclaiming my connection to life, my connection to myself. In that moment, I knew something important. Movement is life. It doesn't matter if it's a slow walk around the park, a few stretches in my living room, or simply breathing in the fresh air. Each of these small actions brings me a step closer to living fully and embracing the joy of being alive, no matter my age. And I realized, if I can do this today, I can do it every day. As the days passed, my new routine of enjoying simple pleasures and connecting with the world around me began to fill me with contentment. Yet, something was still missing. A feeling lingered in the back of my mind, something I couldn't shake off, no matter how hard I tried to ignore it. It was a decision I had been avoiding for weeks, and every time it crossed my mind, I would push it away, telling myself I wasn't ready. You see, Jane, my neighbor and dear friend, had invited me to an art class at the local community center. She had been going for a few months, and she always spoke about how much she loved it. She even suggested that I join her, just to try something new, something creative. The idea seemed wonderful. Yet the thought of stepping into a room full of strangers, most of them much younger than I, sent a wave of nervousness through me. Could I really do this? What if I was too old to learn something like painting? What if I couldn't keep up? What if I looked out of place? The doubts swirled in my head, each one making me hesitate further. I had always been a bit of a perfectionist, and the thought of trying something new, something I might not excel at right away, was daunting. My mind kept returning to the word old. I'm too old for this, I thought. But deep down, I knew this fear was just another excuse I had created to stay in my comfort zone. One evening, as I sat by my window, I thought back to all the times I had tried new things in my life, when I wasn't afraid to take risks, when I welcomed challenges with open arms. I thought about how much joy and growth came from those moments of learning and discovery. Could this be another one of those moments? I took a deep breath and realized that this decision wasn't just about joining a class, it was about embracing life fully, without fear. It was about shaking off the notion that I was too old to try something new. I had spent so many years focusing on what I couldn't do that I had forgotten to appreciate what I could do. This was a chance for me to grow, to stretch beyond my comfort zone, and discover something new about myself. So I made up my mind. I called Jane the next morning and told her I would join her for the next class. My heart raced with excitement and fear, but I knew it was the right choice. I wasn't just going to paint, I was going to live. That afternoon, I walked into the community center, my hands trembling slightly, but my spirit filled with anticipation. To my surprise, the room was welcoming, filled with kind faces and laughter. Jane smiled at me as I walked in, and the instructor made me feel at ease right away. As I sat down with my brush and canvas, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't expected. The colors, the movement of the brush on the canvas, it was like a release, a way for me to express everything I had been holding inside. I wasn't trying to be perfect. I was simply learning to enjoy the process. And for the first time in a long while, I felt a rush of excitement. As I reflect on that decision now, I realize it was a turning point in my life. Not just because I learned to paint, but because I made the choice to connect with myself, to embrace new experiences, and to break free from the limitations I had placed on myself. And every day, I continue to connect with someone, whether it's a quick call to my children, a chat with a neighbor, or a message to an old friend. It's these connections, big and small, that remind me that I am still a part of this world, still capable of growth and learning. Each day is a new opportunity to learn something, to try something new, and to celebrate the beauty of life at any age. This, I've learned, is the true key to happiness, the willingness to step forward, connect, and never stop learning. As the days went on, I found myself wrestling with an internal battle. The art class had been an incredible experience, one that pushed me out of my comfort zone, but I still felt a lingering hesitation. Every time I picked up a brush, a voice in my head would whisper, "You're not good enough at this, Eleanor. Why bother?" It wasn't just about painting anymore. It had become about confronting my own limitations. I had always been someone who prided myself on my ability to handle things with grace, but here I was, feeling uncertain and insecure. I had to admit to myself that change wasn't always easy, even when it's something you've longed for. One morning, after a particularly rough night of doubting myself, I decided to take a walk to clear my mind. The early morning air was crisp, the streets still quiet, and I could feel the weight of my thoughts pressing down on me. As I walked, I realized how much time I had spent judging myself, how often I had allowed my insecurities to cloud my view of what I could achieve. I had been so focused on the outcome, on being perfect at everything, that I forgot to celebrate the process itself. What if I simply enjoyed the act of creating instead of stressing over the end result? That thought was the spark I needed. I stopped in my tracks and closed my eyes, taking in a deep breath. It felt as though a weight was lifting off my shoulders, and a sense of calm washed over me. I am enough just as I am, I reminded myself. And with that, I took a step forward, physically, mentally, and emotionally. When I returned home, I realized that it wasn't just about painting or any one thing I was doing. It was about embracing the entire experience of change. I needed to nourish my body and mind with love, just as I had been learning to do with my heart. So I began to take better care of myself in more ways than one. I started eating more mindfully, savoring every meal like it was a gift. Fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains filled my plate, and I made sure to stay hydrated with plenty of water throughout the day. My meals weren't just fuel anymore, they were a reminder to cherish my body, to honor it for everything it had done for me. But beyond feeding my body, I also began focusing on feeding my spirit with kindness. I started doing small acts of kindness, things I had always thought were too simple to matter. But now, I saw how much they could impact not only others, but also myself. I baked cookies and dropped them off at Mrs. Thompson's house, just because. I sent a handwritten letter to an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years, telling them how much I appreciated their friendship. I started leaving small notes for my family, letting them know how much I loved them. These little actions, these small gestures of kindness, reminded me that I could make a difference, that I could still spread joy, even in the smallest ways. Each day, I found myself growing stronger both physically and emotionally. My legs were a bit less stiff after my walks, and my heart felt lighter after each small act of kindness. The power of love, not just for others but also for myself, was something I was finally learning to embrace. Through all of this, I came to realize that growth isn't just about learning new things or stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about taking care of yourself along the way. It's about finding strength in your vulnerability and showing love in every action, no matter how small. And that is what has truly changed me. The ability to embrace the process of change, the patience to nurture myself, and the courage to let go of the need for perfection. So now, every day, I take time to nourish my body, mind, and soul. Whether it's through a healthy meal, a walk outside, or a kind word to someone in need, I know that I'm not just living, I'm thriving. And this, I've learned, is the greatest gift I can give myself as I continue my journey of self-discovery. I find myself increasingly filled with a sense of joy and optimism. Each day, I feel more connected to myself and the world around me. I'm beginning to see things in a new light, embracing the beauty of life in all its small moments. The worries I once had about growing older seem to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence in who I am and the life I'm creating for myself. One of the things that brings me the most peace is reflecting on the life I've lived and all the lessons I've learned along the way. Each wrinkle, each silver strand of hair feels like a badge of honor, now proof of a life well lived, full of experiences and wisdom. I look back at the paths I've walked, the challenges I've faced, and the love I've shared, and I feel proud of the woman I've become. It's incredible how much perspective age brings, how much clearer I can see the beauty in everyday life. I've also started to create a space around me that reflects this newfound sense of peace and appreciation. My home, once simply a place to live, has transformed into a sanctuary, a reflection of my inner calm. I've added little touches here and there that make me smile every time I walk into a room. A vase of fresh flowers on the dining table, a cozy throw blanket draped across my favorite chair, the soft glow of candles flickering in the evening, they all bring me comfort and warmth. It's not about having the most expensive things. It's about creating a space that feels inviting, peaceful, and truly mine. My living room, with its gentle, calming colors and the soft hum of music playing in the background, is where I spend a lot of my time now. It's where I sit and reflect on the day, where I read, where I visit with friends and family. It's where I find joy in the little things, like the quiet chirp of birds outside or the laughter of my grandchildren running through the house. I've realized that beauty is in the details, those small, simple things that make a place feel like home. And it's not just about my physical space, it's about the space I've created within myself, a space that's full of gratitude, of love, and of new possibilities. Every day, I make a conscious effort to fill my life with positivity. I surround myself with people who uplift me, who bring out the best in me. I keep a gratitude journal where I jot down a few things I'm thankful for each day, and I find that the more I focus on the good, the more good comes into my life. As I reflect on the beautiful space I've created, I realize how much it has influenced my outlook on life. I feel lighter, more open to new experiences. I wake up with a sense of excitement, ready to embrace whatever the day holds. Life, I've learned, is what we make of it, and I'm making mine a beautiful, fulfilling journey. I know there will still be challenges, still be moments of doubt, but I've learned that I have the strength to face them with grace and confidence. I invite you to look at your life, to create a space for yourself physically and emotionally that brings you joy. It doesn't take much. Sometimes it's the simplest things that make the biggest difference, whether it's adding a plant to your windowsill or taking a moment each morning to reflect on what you're grateful for. You can create a life that feels peaceful, beautiful, and full of purpose. This is my journey, and I'm learning to embrace it every day. Life is beautiful, and I'm here to enjoy every moment of it. As I continued to reflect on my life, a warm sense of gratitude filled me, and I realized just how much I had to celebrate. The little victories, the progress I had made, even the challenges I had overcome, they all deserved to be acknowledged. For so long, I had focused on what I didn't have or what I still needed to accomplish. But now, I was learning to celebrate what I had achieved, no matter how small it seemed. Every step forward was a step worth honoring. One of the things that truly brightened my days was making time to laugh. Laughter has always been one of my greatest joys, and I was determined to prioritize it more. After all, there's something magical about a good laugh. It lifts the spirit, lightens the heart, and makes everything feel a little bit easier. I started to find humor in the small moments of life. Whether it was reminiscing with friends about the silly things we did in our youth, or laughing at the amusing things my grandchildren said, I made sure to savor every laugh. Laughter, I discovered, wasn't just a source of joy, it was also medicine for the soul. One of my favorite habits now is watching a comedy movie or listening to funny stories with my friends. The other day, I invited a few neighbors over for tea, and we spent hours laughing about the little mishaps in our lives. It felt so good to simply enjoy each other's company and forget about the worries of the day. I realized that happiness doesn't always come from grand achievements. It often comes from these simple, light-hearted moments that fill your heart with joy. But beyond the laughter, I also made sure to nourish my body with the love and care it deserved. I knew that maintaining good health was essential for my happiness, so I started making more mindful choices about how I took care of myself. I continued my daily walks, enjoying the fresh air and the simple pleasure of movement. It wasn't about pushing myself to do more. It was about being kind to my body and staying active in ways that felt good to me. Sometimes it was just a gentle stretch in the morning, or a few minutes of dancing around the kitchen while I cooked. Other days, I enjoyed tending to my garden, bending and stretching to water my flowers and plants. These moments of movement, no matter how small, were acts of love for my body. I also paid attention to what I ate. I made an effort to choose foods that made me feel energized and nourished fruits, vegetables, and whole grains foods that I knew would keep my body strong and my mind clear. And every once in a while, I'd indulge in a little treat, like a piece of chocolate or a warm slice of homemade pie, because I've learned that it's the balance, not the perfection, that matters most. As I embraced these small habits, I could feel the positive impact on my mental and physical health. I was calmer, more centered, and much more energized than I had been in years. And most importantly, I felt happy, truly happy. I realized that happiness is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create through the choices we make and the mindset we cultivate. So now, every day, I celebrate what I've accomplished, and I prioritize the things that bring me joy, laughter, movement, nourishment, and love. These habits are my foundation, and they help me stay grounded, healthy, and full of life. As I look forward to the years ahead, I know that I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. And I'm excited to continue making each day a celebration of the beautiful life I've created. If you're reading this and wondering how to start, let me offer this. Take small steps to embrace joy and laughter. Connect with those around you. Move your body in ways that feel good. And most importantly, celebrate the little victories. You've come so far, and there's so much more ahead to enjoy. Life is meant to be lived fully, and at any age we can find happiness, health, and peace by making these small, intentional choices. As I sit here reflecting on the life I've lived and the lessons I've learned, I feel an overwhelming sense of peace and gratitude. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life, always chasing the next thing, but I've come to realize that true happiness is not something that comes from external achievements. It comes from within, from the way we choose to see the world and ourselves. And with every year, I find that I have more to be grateful for, more wisdom to share, and more joy to embrace. The biggest lesson I've learned, Eleanor, is that age is not a barrier, it's a gift. A gift that allows us to appreciate the small things, to find beauty in the everyday, and to realize that we can continue to grow, learn, and love no matter where we are in life. It's about embracing the process of aging, not as a decline, but as an opportunity to live more fully, with purpose, and with grace. I've learned that it's never too late to change, to try something new, or to let go of old beliefs that no longer serve us. By choosing to see the world through a lens of gratitude, laughter, and love, we open ourselves up to a life full of possibilities, no matter our age. So, I invite you, my dear friends, to join me in this journey. Take a moment each day to celebrate who you are and where you are. Embrace the small joys, nurture your body, laugh often, and never forget to be kind to yourself. Life is a beautiful, ever-unfolding story, and we're all still writing it, no matter how many chapters we've already lived. The best chapters of our lives are not behind us. They are ahead of us, waiting to be written. And I can't wait to see what comes next. As I wrap up my story, I want to take a moment to thank you for joining me on this beautiful journey of reflection, growth, and celebration. Life is full of lessons, and I hope that my story has inspired you to embrace your own journey, no matter where you are in life. If you've enjoyed this video and feel inspired by what you've heard, I would love for you to hit that like button and subscribe to the Senior Moments Matter channel. By subscribing, you'll be part of this amazing community where we share wisdom, joy, and stories that connect us all. Please, I encourage you to share your thoughts and feelings about this story in the comments below. What part of the story resonated with you the most? Do you have any personal experiences or lessons you've learned that you'd like to share? Or perhaps you have a question you've been wondering about or a topic you'd love to hear more about. I would be so grateful to hear from you and connect with you further. Remember, we're all in this together, and our stories are what bind us. Let's continue this conversation and support each other in creating lives full of love, laughter, and purpose. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.